Live from the Jersey Shore to the world. Get up, get out, do something. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Take the show wherever you go. Download the free Radio Pup app for your smartphone or tablet. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Hey, welcome back. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin, 707, Thursday, December 1st, 56 degrees, getting up to 55. WOBMAM 1160 and 1310. News Talk Radio, streaming live on the Radio Pup app at WOBMAM.com. 732-505-1160 to join the conversation. We are now joined by our financial guru, Sean Monohan. Sean Monohan offers securities and advisory services through Commonwealth Financial Network, member FINRA, SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Good morning, Sean. How are you?
Good morning, Jeremy. How you doing?
I'm good. You look you look a little more dressy today.
You know, I'm going like a spring sort of look. I'm thinking it's 50. What'd you say? 55 is going to be?
Yeah, it's 55 and dropping.
And dropping throughout the day.
Well, it's 56 and now it's dropping to 55, and then like by tomorrow it's supposed to be like we're supposed to get into like December.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So December's coming?
Why don't you go ahead and handle the microphone?
Yeah, sorry. So I had to raise it since
it's the first time on with us. I understand.
Gary was in here. I think
Gary's a little shorter.
He's a little low.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I know Gary's shorter, but he could beat up both of us combined in about 32 seconds.
I got to tell you, that guy. I mean, I've worked out with him. I've seen him working out. He's in tremendous shape. He looks like he is, but he actually is. I mean, he won this CrossFit contest for 40. Oh yeah. Yeah, he's an athlete, man. He's not joking around.
Yeah, I know. But I didn't bring it up with him. He's also a sweater.
It's hot in here.
He's a sweater.
He's a sweater.
I'm always scared to bring it up with him because he's tough.
The nicest guy in the world.
He is nice.
And he's got his heart's in the right place, and I think they're going to do well.
I have no doubt. So, speaking of doing well, the markets have been doing well, huh?
Markets have been doing well. Everybody that was, I guess there was concern before the election of how this thing might play out, and everybody's forgotten about it.
Yeah.
Markets were all four indexes last week hit all-time highs on the same day for the first time since 1999.
Right. And of course, as in typical political rhetoric form, Donald Trump, who absolutely killed Goldman Sachs. Yeah, you want go ahead, do it one more time.
Do it
there
real
you
quick.
go. Do it.
Thanks.
Okay, grab that microphone. Yeah, just make it your own.
I know it's a key.
Yeah.
But
no, it's great. So Donald Trump, who
draining the swamp, right?
Getting
the
swamp,
elites out of it.
Continuously said Goldman Sachs, Hillary Clinton got paid by Wall Street, blah 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 blah, and then he names his Treasury Secretary, and sure enough,
Goldman Sachs
guy. Right, who left Goldman Sachs to do his own hedge fund and invest in movies.
Right.
Yeah.
And mortgages and foreclosed mortgages and made a fortune, right?
Smart. Listen, there's nothing wrong. I got no problem with somebody that takes advantage. Listen, as you've said many times, the best time to buy is when the markets are down, right?
That's right.
Right? You got to look for opportunity.
No, if you were running into the fire, you would have been doing well in 08 and 09.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's a guy who did that.
He's probably a smart guy. I think his dad worked at Goldman Sachs. He's like a legacy. Like he didn't grow up like with his sleeves rolled up working out in Indiana at Carrier. He's a Goldman Sachs kid, Goldman Sachs guy. And I think from what he's saying, his main initiatives are going to be lower in the corporate tax base. I mean, that's what his focus seems to be. It's going to be to lower tax rates, maybe eliminate some of these loopholes, and broaden the base, as they say, broaden the tax base, but lower the rates. So,
yes.
So that'll be, who knows how it plays out, but the markets are reacting. A lot of companies that larger companies don't pay a lot of taxes because they have all these loopholes in place, and they have lawyers and accountants figuring it all out, and they pay very low. They don't pay the corporate tax rate as advertised. Where the smaller companies, frankly, and I think where you're seeing how it's playing out in the market, is that the common consensus is these taxes are going down. It's going to disproportionately benefit smaller companies in this country, and we'll see how it plays out.
Well, to his credit, right, we have this. By all accounts, it seems like his first kind of one of his first deals was about keeping jobs right here in America, right? And in Indiana, we see an example of that, right?
That's right. Donald Trump and Mike Pence are going out to Indiana today, right? To talk to Carrier, and they had plans to go to Mexico, and they've decided that the environment's going to be more favorable going forward. I don't know. We'll see how it works out.
Yeah,
I always get a little suspect with this. Like, how much really went into this, like, planning? Like, how much? There's a little part of this story that to me seems not contrived. Like, not that they weren't legitimately going to go to Mexico, but to sort of credit this election, and I don't know if it's all and how we're talking about a few hundred jobs,
right?
At the end of the day, it's not like.
No, but it's a good start. What always concerns me is what is the price that we had to pay to keep those jobs, to keep that company here? And by that I mean we typically pay those in tax credits, right? Right. So it's there's typically some kind of an incentive tax credit wise for that company to stay. And my concern,
do we know that was the case?
We don't.
It's very murky, right? I mean, we don't really know what happened here. As far as do we? I didn't read it closely, to be honest with you. But it didn't seem like there was a clear. Oh, these are the tax cuts the Trump administration.
No, they haven't. Because we're going to get details today, right? We're going to get more details today. But I'll give you a perfect example, right? So we've talked about, or I've talked about on this show, the revitalization of Camden. Okay, and that's been done. That has been done by tax credits to bring business to the Camden waterfront.
Sure.
Those businesses were mostly from the Philadelphia area or from the South Jersey area. Right. They came for tax credits, right? They didn't create jobs. They really just moved people around a little bit.
One place to another place, right?
And what they ultimately do is they'll stay there for 10 years. They'll take their tax credits. And then they'll pick up their business and they'll go somewhere else who will offer them new tax credits in the next 10 years. So you're never going to get them off of this drip of the drug of tax credits. So I just wonder what we did in Indiana or what we're doing to keep those jobs there. What's the opportunity cost?
Out of curiosity, what do you find the solution to be then, right? So if it's not government action doing these sorts of things or creating this sort of environment, what is it? I mean, honestly, it's not a. I mean, it's different from moving. It is different from moving Carrier from a small town in Indiana, which would devastate it, right? My wife grew up in a small town in Ohio, and yeah, you move those jobs to Mexico. It's not like it's going from Berkeley to Tom's River and people in Berkeley are happy and not Tom's River, or vice versa. It's a different country, right? So, and it would and these towns are devastated. If you have a company in a small town in the Midwest and they pull out, it screws up the hospitals. It screws up the schools. I mean, everything becomes this vast wasteland. So what's the correct alternative, right? Because frankly, it's still going to be cheaper to make stuff in Mexico. That's what I don't know.
But that's the problem. Is it's got to be a system change, right? So it can't be a one-off. To me, a one-off means you bought that, right? I don't know what kind of concessions they made, or what they promised that's going to happen for them when they take over the administration, or Mike Pence is the governor, so he has the ability to do things, right? But the question is, that's not a way. Ultimately, you can't do that with every company, right? The answer to me is that there has to be some kind of an incentive to have things made in America, or some kind of a penalty to have things not made in America. And whether that's some kind of balancing of a taxation issue.
But isn't the sort of like Republican or conservative libertarian type of view is let the free market flow, let it all work out, the free market will resolve itself?
But then that would say let them go to Mexico.
That's why they went.
Well, I understand
it's cheaper
that,
to make stuff. I mean, that's Trump is he.
But he's not a Republican. I mean, let's be fair. I mean, he's not a Republican in the truest sense of the word.
Well, he is in the sense that he makes his ties in another country that's cheaper to make them there and sells them here for a lot more money because it's better for his company. It's better for his employees. He'll justify it 10 times out of 10 saying it that way.
And so that's why you have to figure out how to close a trade deficit.
I mean, like you know the brand like True Religion, like those jeans.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, their big thing is they're American made. They're $400 to buy an American made pair of blue jeans.
Right.
Like, well, okay, that's great and they're high quality. They look like they were made in 1986 and washed in a dryer since then. But like, they're $400,
right?
Because it's made in America. It's not any like. I mean, that's what you get.
Well, that is the question though. Is how do you keep pricing fair for the consumers, keep jobs here, right? Not stop trade with other countries who say I'm not going to sell in your country because you're taxing the heck out of everything I do, right? I mean, it's not as easy an answer as just we're going to make it great and we're going to keep all the jobs here, But that's why I'd like to see the details of this carrier thing, because I'm not sure how sustainable it is when we look big picture. But we'll talk more after this because I also, I want to see what you think kind of longer term the impact is going to be on, especially on these corporate taxes and how Wall Street's going to continue to feel about Donald Trump. Our financial guru, Sean Monahan, back after this.
The Sean Hannity Show, this afternoon at 3. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin returns next. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310.
Well, welcome back. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. So according to Politico, Politico says that there were $700,000 in state tax breaks for Carrier that were given, but that there was also the parent company, United Technologies, was worried that they could lose $6.7 billion in federal contracts if they kind of went the other way. But, again, my point was it's not sustainable when you're hinging everything on federal contracts or hinging everything on promises. You can't promise everything to everybody.
No, and I think that the government has requirements of its contractors. You got to make a certain amount of stuff here. You got to, have certain hiring practices. I mean, I think they do have restrictions on what they do. But yeah, that's something about that doesn't seem right to me. That was the threat, or that was a perceived threat that they would lose. What did you just say? 600? How much?
700,000 in tax.
No,
but they do $6.7 billion. Yeah,
with a big thousands of millions of dollars.
Because United Technologies manufactures aerospace and defense products. They have the seventh highest level of federal funding among private companies last year.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see how that plays out, because that's. Look, there's an infrastructure there that's probably up for review if you got a leader in charge saying, "Hey, we're going to cut some of the waste." I mean, the aerospace. That whole industry and the machine that the Pentagon generates is it's an economy of itself.
But does it feel like we're going to be walking the line between making deals and making threats?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
That's to me where that's the point, because it could have been like, that's a conversation where Donald Trump could have said, "Hey, listen, you know what? I understand you got to take these jobs, no problem. Gosh, you guys do $6.7 billion a year in federal contracts. Whew, it's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Hate to see that impacted." Right? That's all you have to say, right? You don't have to say anything else.
Yeah, except that those are usually. It's the government doesn't work like that. Like,
what do you mean?
It's not like. Look, it's not like gunning properties, firing your landscaper and hiring a different landscaper, right? These are multi-year contracts. They're bid for.
Yeah.
He can't just walk in and say.
Yes, he can. Bid processes are completely are messed with all the time. You hear about it. You read about it in the papers all the time. You read about sweetheart deals, and there are so many federal deals.
So many
that I'm sure on a small level. Look, you're not talking about the humongous, the monstrous ones that are high profile, but all those low profile ones. Look, and you write bid packages for the company you want to win it.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can write a bid any way you want. I want the company to have X amount of employees, do X amount of business. They need to be this kind of whatever. Suddenly, only one person qualifies for that bid.
Right.
Different world.
So,
but
yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see how this administration operates, and if that's this. I don't know.
But overall, from an investment standpoint, as a financial advisor,
right?
You feel like you would agree that it feels like we have an administration that's going to be business friendly, right?
I would say I feel like that's how the market's perceiving it right now, right? And I think that if in all objectiveness, you could look at it and say, look, some of these tax breaks that might go to some of these corporations or individuals in this country will benefit businesses. If there's this infrastructure program and, putting people to jobs, or putting people to work and, frankly, just rebuilding the roads. I mean, in and of itself is enough for me. But they so I think that from a market, that's what's happening right now. That the market's looking at this guy and saying we're going to be in a good position going forward. Getting cut off?
Yeah, no, listen, you're okay. That's all right. So when we come back, let's talk more about that, right? Let's talk more about how you see the end of this year playing out, and any last-second tips you give folks who are trying to finish out the year strong. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin and Sean Monahan back after this.
Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Live from the Bob Levy Broadcast Center, overlooking the Toms River. It's time to get up, get out, do something. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Be a part of the show. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Hey, welcome back. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. We are here with Sean Monahan. It's 7:35, Thursday, December 1st, 56 degrees. We're staying right about there today. WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. News Talk Radio streaming live on the Radio Pup app and WOBMAM.com. 732-505-1160. So, Sean, what do you see? What do you see as far as the rest of the year? What should folks be paying attention to as they kind of go through and finish up the tax year?
Well, there's two ways that I look at this. One is the small businesses, right? I think that the consensus is that the tax rates will go down. So if there's things that, as a business owner, and I'm looking at this myself, expenses I can pay for this year that I may incur next year, it might make sense to do that. Lower my taxes for this year under the assumption that tax rates will be lower next year for corporations. So that's that might be true for pass-throughs. You don't really know that, so I wouldn't. The way I'm looking at it myself as a business owner is I'm maybe if there's things I'm going to buy anyway or pay for anyway, like in January or February, I might just move the schedule up a little bit and put it on this year's budget. But I'm not going crazy. I'm not buying stuff because I think everything's going to be free next year. But I think that's one thing for certainly small business owners to look at right now. Ironically, I think a lot of times we look at tax loss selling in brokerage accounts right now. With the market being up so strong, there's sometimes not as much availability, which is always a good problem to have because that means your accounts are up. But what I think overall, what I'm looking at with investors is I think this is a great time to be looking at their portfolio and finding out if this allocation that they have or this mix of investments they have or whatever is correct. Because really, this is the time you want to do it. All the markets have surged here. I think that there's concerns that come up when that happens so abruptly. I always get a little more nervous. Not that I don't think that, I'm not predicting any major disruption, but the markets don't always go up. We know that. They never will. They'll always pull back. So you want to find out if, what I do is I stress test a portfolio. I say, look, here's how this portfolio would have interacted or behaved in 08 and 09. And I say, I have the software I can use and it can really visually demonstrate if you had whatever the amount is, call it $1 million or $100,000. Here's what it would be worth, in March of 09 after that episode and when the markets came down by 50%. Can you tolerate that? Would that be okay with you if that happened now? Because, and I'm not saying that's going to happen now, but it's going to happen.
Sure.
It's happened twice in the last 15 years. For two guys in our 40s, I'll tell you it's going to happen again. You're going to see it. And hopefully, for a lot of my clients that are getting closer to retiring, you don't want that to happen when you're 64 looking to 6 months away from retiring and all of a sudden your retirement account's worth half of what it was. So you want to have those conversations now. As I've told you before, you want to fix your roof while the sun's shining.
That's a good point because it's worse to fix it when it's raining, right?
You don't want to fix it when it's raining or snowing.
No, those are bad.
Bad.
Zach, you write that down?
Fix your roof when the sun is shining?
Yeah, because I know you're doing a deck right now.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Well,
by the way, he's doing it in December?
Well, yeah.
I guess it's 56
Yeah,
degrees.
I'm
What do I know?
doing it all myself.
He's not doing anything with it. But think about it. You always do your deck in December because that's when the contractors are like, I got nothing else to do.
Right.
Everybody's put it up in April.
That's
you
true.
Know what I'm saying?
I
Look
guess.
at that.
Yeah.
Same
okay, you got to be a
theory.
contrarian. You got to be a contrarian.
That's right. When the market zigs, you zag.
Yep. So I think that overall, there's a few things that are concerning me in the market. The amount of flows that are going towards equities right now in the mutual fund space, I think, is abrupt, and it's causing this bull run here. And the only thing I know is bull runs don't last forever. It'll eventually. And you just want to be in a position when it does pull back that you understood that was one of the outcomes that could happen.
Yeah.
But I'm not predicting that, frankly. I still think America's great. I still think companies are making money, and I think
you still think America's great, huh?
I do.
You said it.
Not again. It still is.
Oh, I got it. Sorry, my bad.
Still is.
My bad. Sean, why don't you tell folks, get that business
Get
card out.
the card out,
Come on.
man. In case I'm nervous. It's radio.
I know. You should be.
You can give me a call at 609-693-3800. My email address is Sean, SEAN, at FINALT. It's short for financialalternatives.com. And my office is the corner of Indian Hill and Hooper. If you want to take a look at your portfolio, you have some questions on what the election means or the markets are going up, or this is the time you want to ask questions. People always ask questions when the market pulls back 10%. Is this too risky? This is when you want to evaluate your risk, in my opinion. This is the opportunity to do it.
Absolutely. Great point. Sean Monahan, always a pleasure. Great
be
job. Here. And listen, we will see you again. Wow. We will see you again in 2 weeks, and that'll be like probably in 2 weeks that's going to be the 15th. That'll be our last time seeing each other before Christmas and Hanukkah.
Yes, it will.
Christmas and Hanukkah.
Does Hanukkah overlap this year exactly?
Believe it or not, the first night of Hanukkah is Christmas Eve.
Is the first night the big night?
Well, that's the beauty of 8 nights. It's 8 crazy
nights. They're all
yeah.
equal.
8 crazy nights, man.
So it's the first night's Christmas Eve. So we're all going to line up. We're all going to be in line.
We're all yeah.
And then New Year's, you're going to wrap it up around New Year's. That'll be great.
Yeah, I'll be in Turks and Caicos. I'm not. We're not. Yeah.
But I'm saying the holiday will wrap up at the same time the rest of America.
Yeah, it'll be nice.
Like
Jews, Christians celebrating together.
We can all light a candle together.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Spin a little...
a dreidel. That's a dreidel. Look
Dreidel.
at you spinning the dreidel. That was good. If only you had the simulcast here so you could see.
We always had one of those songs thrown in when I was in kindergarten. We always had to sing the one, song, the other 9 Christmas songs. And
right.
One dreidel
and then it was
song.
all right. Dreidel, dreidel, dreidel. I made you out of clay. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And when you're dry and ready, a dreidel I shall play. Yeah, it was one.
I think there were some Jewish kids in the school.
No, there was. At that time, there were
were
1 or 2 Jews, and that was it. That's about what it is now. So that's all right.
Do we have to do half the songs now, or is it all equal?
Listen,
Kwanzaa?
Sean, I was I went to an Irish show last night. I mean, this was once, and it took place in Dublin.
Award-winning show.
Yeah, award-winning show taking place in Dublin. I thought of you last night and your Irishness.
Did you?
Because you are.
Have you been to Dublin before?
No.
You know what? Put that on your list. That's a fun town.
it?
Ireland's a fun country. It's the size of Maine. You can drive the whole place. It's small.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And they have these big cups. They drink. Oh, it's beer. They drink a lot of it. And when I was over there, I spent a semester there. The bars all close at 11, so you can go out and drink all day, and you're still going to get a full night's sleep before you come in the morning.
Really?
Yeah. They might have changed that over time, but that was the deal. And a lot of bars across the street from the factories would all close at 1 o'clock in the afternoon because these dudes would go in for lunch, start drinking, and if they didn't close the bar, they'd stay there all day.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Look at you, Sean Monahan.
Throwing some knowledge out there,
yeah,
some Irish drinking
talking
laws.
all about Irish and drinking. I don't know why it always comes up.
It's a little more straightforward than the liquor license Tom's River here. Let's get that.
Sean, enjoy the first 2 weeks of December, and we'll see you in a couple
We'll see
weeks,
you
okay?
soon, bud.
Wake up with Jeremy Grunin back with more. And we may give away some tickets right after this.